In Israel, which is mostly made up of Jews, Muslims, and Christians, Lama Dvora is a leader you wouldn't quite expect. But given the fact that she grew up in this country, her journey to Buddhism today may not be unexpected at all.
That conflict affected me very deeply as a child, as a young girl. So it affected me deeply, the violence and the sacrifice, and young people who were killed for what looked to me like didn't make sense.
The Buddhist spiritual leader tells us what drove her to the practice was an outside life where she seemed like she had it all, but still felt like something was missing.
I had a nice family. I had 3 wonderful children. I had a good education. I had a PhD. Money was good. I had good positions. And I still wasn't happy. Because this is not where happiness comes from. All those things that we are trying so hard to make sure we have in our lives, sometimes we succeed, some other times we fail. But either way, they're not what brings happiness. They're not the ultimate source of happiness, because for one reason, they're all impermanent. You can't keep anything.
Lama Dvora says it was an encounter after a workshop with Ram Dass, one of the world's most famous spiritual gurus, that helped put her on the path to Buddhism.
Following the workshop, he gave at the end of the workshop, he offered a meditation session, which I went to, and I just wanted more. So I went up to him and to ask for direction, and he was not a Buddhist teacher, but he looked at me and he sent me to a Buddhist center.
She continued her studies across America, eventually participating in a silent meditation in Arizona that was years long.
We spent there for 3 years in individual silent retreat. I thought I was prepared. But a long retreat is a different animal, because you go much deeper and a lot of stuff surfaces that you have to deal with.
By the time she emerged, so did a following back in her home country.
And I started teaching in Israel, and that evolved gradually. And so I was, when I came out of retreat, that group which I started teaching before, in the meantime swelled and grew, because I also trained other people to teach. So there were other teachers, so that group became much bigger, and they all wanted to continue studies. So by the time I came out of retreat, there was a huge group waiting for me. And while I was in retreat, they built this house.
And a home was created for her at Moa Oasis in the desert, the location of the Arava Spiritual Center nonprofit organization. And it's here where study, festivals, and retreats are offered. She says that one such retreat here allows people to cultivate positive qualities and overcome the feeling of division.
We had 30 people that sat a whole year in a 12-month retreat, silent retreat, here in isolation. We closed off the place. Nobody could come in. And they were silent. They were not talking. And that creates conditions for a person to see deep inside and to meet whatever baggage is sitting there, and to transmute it and to let go of it and to turn it into positive qualities like love and compassion and understanding and wisdom and awareness. As much as we are teaching going into meditation and going into your individual practice, into your silent practice, which is where you create those attitudes, but they are tested when you go out into the world. And so here we are being tested.
It's here where she believes the work done on the inside could make a difference on the outside through opening people up.
The work within is the work of meeting where we are maybe a little bit aggressive, maybe a little bit resentful, maybe a little bit non-accepting, judgmental, all of that. We have all of that. We are not always aware of everything we carry in us. So in deep conditions of meditation, you can begin to see it, you can meet it, and it's not necessarily related to your nationality or to some other nationality, it's just your own stuff. So you get to meet your own stuff and let go of it. First you had to learn to accept the stuff that you carry. And if you learn how to accept and not reject and not judge yourself, then you can stop rejecting and not judging and loving other people. And it's not just a matter of nationality, of course, but here in Israel, the Palestinian conflict, the Israeli-Palestinian conflict is so dominant that that would be the area where you would apply that.
And the longtime Buddhist leader has changed lives along the way, impacting others on their path to Buddhism.
It was a teaching of compassion, very deep compassion, and I was starting to cry. And then I knew that something that was missing, the meaning of life.
Could a Buddhist leader solve Mideast peace? The answer is uncertain, but Lama Dvora believes cultivating peace within is the foundation for creating it on the outside.